Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, why did I let that person get to me? Or worse, why did I waste so much energy trying to prove a point that didn't even matter? If you've been there, you're not alone. In a world that glorifies hustle, debate, and dominance, it's easy to fall into the trap of constant confrontation. But here's the problem: when you're always trying to win, you're constantly fighting. And when you're always fighting, you're never truly at peace. Now here's the twist. You don't have to sacrifice your peace to gain the upper hand. You don't have to choose between strength and serenity. The greatest power often comes from not reacting, not forcing, and not engaging unless it truly matters. That's what we're exploring today. This episode is your guide to navigating conflict and competition with the calm, strategic mind of a Stoic. You'll learn how to outmaneuver others not through manipulation or aggression, but through clarity, restraint, and self-command. So, if you're tired of unnecessary stress, if you're ready to approach your relationships, your work, and your challenges with more wisdom and less tension, then settle in. Let's begin the journey toward peaceful power. Part 1. The real enemy isn't them, it's your mind. Let's begin with an uncomfortable truth. Most of the battles we fight are not with the world, they're with us. You might think your boss is the problem, or your partner, or that one colleague who always seems to challenge you at the worst times. But pause and look deeper. What sets you off? Is it their words or your need to be right? Is it their tone or your fear of being misunderstood or overlooked? This is the first lesson of Stoic philosophy. The enemy is rarely external. The true struggle takes place within your mind. Marcus Aurelius, writing in the quiet hours of the night, reminded himself, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That's powerful. What he's saying is that it's not the situation, it's your interpretation of it. It's not the insult you believe that it means something about your worth. It's not the delay, or the rejection, or the silence. It's your story about what those things represent. And what does that mean for us? It means that if we can change our perspective, we can change everything. Not by controlling others, but by reclaiming control over ourselves. Epictetus echoed this idea with striking clarity. People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of things. Let that sink in. It's not them, it's the lens you're using to view them. And the best news, that lens belongs to you. You can clean it, you can change it. You can choose to see the situation not as an attack, but as a test, not as a threat, but as training. This is what the Stoics called proheresis, the faculty of choice. No matter what others say or do, you still have the power to choose your response. You don't have to be dragged by emotion, swept away by impulse, or chained to your ego. And I know that's easier said than done. When someone questions your ability, when someone talks over you, when you feel invisible, there's a part of you that wants to fight, needs to defend. But here's the question: would you rather prove something to them or prove something to yourself? Because real strength is quiet. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't panic. It stands firm. Seneca, in one of his letters, offers a line that has stayed with me for years. He who is brave is free. And what greater bravery is there than choosing peace in the face of provocation? What greater freedom than not being ruled by someone else's bad mood, unkind words, or chaotic energy? So next time you feel the urge to react, to lash out, to defend, to control, remember this: the true battle is not out there. It's in here, and when you win that battle, you win everything. Part 2. Calm is your competitive edge. Let's talk about something radical. In a world that rewards speed, aggression, and noise, calmness is often seen as weakness. But what if it's your greatest weapon? Think about it. In any confrontation, the most emotional person is usually the most vulnerable. The more reactive you are, the easier you are to manipulate. The louder you get, the more you reveal, the faster you respond, the more you miss. But calm is presence. Calm is control. Calm is clarity under pressure. Epictetus put it this way: no man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Freedom is being so steady inside that nothing on the outside can pull you off balance. It's not suppression, it's sovereignty. And that's what calmness offers you. Let me ask you, how often do you regret staying calm? Compare that to how often you regret saying something. In the heat of the moment, the Stoics knew this well. They trained not just their bodies or intellects, but their nervous systems. They practiced equanimity, ataraxia, the unshakable stillness of mind. Even when the world is shaking around you. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, wrote privately to himself, "How much more harmful are the consequences of anger and grief than the circumstances that arouse them in us?" That line stopped me the first time I read it, because he's right. It's not the insult that ruins your day, it's the spiral of thoughts that follows. It's not the rejection that hurts most, it's the meaning you attach to it, the story your mind starts to tell. But imagine this, you're in a room full of chaos, people talking over each other, accusations flying, and there you are, grounded, breathing, listening, not because you don't care, but because you care about what matters. That kind of calmness, it's magnetic, it's powerful, it shifts the energy of a room, and more than that, it protects you. Seneca said, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." How often do we suffer needlessly because we let emotion hijack the moment? How often do we burn bridges or wound ourselves because we mistake reactivity for strength? True strength is measured in restraint. So here's the challenge: when you feel the surge of anger, pause. When you feel the sting of disrespect, breathe. When you feel the need to prove yourself, observe instead. Let others be frantic. Let them rush. Let them react. Your job is to remain unshaken, clear, still. Because calm isn't just your competitive edge, it's your emotional armor. And in a noisy world, the quietest person often sees the farthest. Part 3. Use silence as a weapon of insight. Let's pause for a moment and talk about silence. Not the awkward kind, not the passive kind, but Stoic silence, the type that commands respect without saying a word. In today's world, silence is underrated. Everyone's rushing to speak, to post, to respond, to correct. But in that rush, they give themselves away too quickly, too easily. The Stoics, on the other hand, understood the hidden power of stillness and restraint. Epictetus once told his students, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." There's wisdom in that ratio, because when you speak too fast, you reveal your emotion. When you interrupt, you show your insecurity. But when you remain silent, truly silent, you listen deeply, you observe, and you begin to see the game behind the game. Let me ask you, have you ever sat in a tense room and simply watched the energy unfold? No talking, no defending, just watching. Suddenly, you notice the cracks in people's arguments, the fear behind their anger, the insecurity behind their dominance. That's the power of observation born from silence. And it's not passive, it's not awakeness. It's deliberate stillness, a strategy rooted in strength. Marcus Aurelius, journaling in the solitude of his tent, reminded himself, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject." In other words, the crowd may be loud, but noise does not equal truth. Silence allows you to step back and discern, to separate what is real from what is just emotional fog. Think of it like this: words are like currency. The more freely you spend them, the less they're worth. But when you speak only after listening, when your words come from clarity and not reaction, they land with weight. Seneca wrote, "Speech is to be considered as a precious treasure, and silence as the safest response to insult." So next time someone challenges you, try this. Don't argue. Don't explain. Just look at them. Hold the silence. Let them fill the space with their assumptions, their projections, their discomfort. You already know who you are. You don't need to defend it. Let them reveal their hand first. Let them overplay it. Meanwhile, you observe. You stay grounded. You gather all the information they didn't realize they were giving you. Because here's the truth: silence is not the absence of action, it's the presence of control. It's the quiet confidence that says, "I don't need to prove anything right now, because I'm already in command." And that's how you begin to outmaneuver without lifting a single finger. Part 4. Don't fight every battle, win the war. Let's get honest for a second. How many times have you found yourself tangled in an argument, only to realize halfway through, this wasn't even worth it? It could be a pointless disagreement with a friend, a debate with a stranger online, or that burning desire to prove someone wrong even when their opinion means nothing to your life. Sound familiar? Here's the thing, you don't need to fight every battle. Most battles aren't battles at all, just distractions. Distractions from your peace, your purpose, your path. The Stoics knew this deeply. They didn't concern themselves with petty fights or momentary validation. They asked one question: is this essential? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Simple, yes, but deeply clarifying. He also reminds us you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. That might sound grim to some, but to the Stoic, it's not about fear, it's about focus. It's about remembering that life is short and time is sacred. And once you realize that, you stop pouring your energy into things that simply don't matter. Not every comment needs a reply. Not every offense deserves a counterattack. And not every challenge is worth your presence. Sometimes, choosing not to engage isn't surrender, it's strategy. Seneca put it beautifully, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. So when someone cuts you off in traffic, delay. When someone posts something ignorant, delay. When someone misjudges you, mocks you, or provokes you, delay. Not to suppress, but to filter. To ask yourself, is this battle worth my peace of mind? Am I acting from purpose or pride? What outcome serves my growth? And if the answer points to silence, to patience, to walking away, do it. You see, the ego wants to win now. It wants the last word, the upper hand, the applause. But your soul is playing the long game. The Stoic doesn't need to prove anything in the moment, because they're not fighting for attention. They're building character. They're preserving energy for things that matter, like their values, their family, their legacy. So next time you feel drawn into a meaningless fight, pause and ask, is this a hill worth dying on, or just another noise I can rise above? You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to burn your peace just to be right. And you don't have to light a fire just because someone handed you a match. The strongest move you can make is often the most unexpected one. To not engage, not from weakness but from wisdom. Because you're not trying to win a moment, you're trying to win your life. Part 5. Turn adversity into advantage. Let me offer you a different lens. What if every conflict, every challenge, every difficult person in your life was a teacher? You see, most of us want life to be smooth. We want relationships without friction, plans without setbacks, days without confrontation. But let's be honest, has comfort ever made you stronger? Epictetus didn't think so. He wrote, "Difficulties are things that show a person who they are." That's a bold statement, and it demands something from us. It asks us to stop seeing adversity as punishment and start seeing it as opportunity. Not an obstacle to your growth, but the path to it. Imagine this. Someone criticizes you unfairly. Your instinct, defensiveness, maybe anger. But what if just for a moment you asked, what is this teaching me? Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's showing you where your ego still craves approval. Maybe it's a chance to practice silence, restraint, or self-trust. The Stoics believed that life is like a gym for the soul. You don't grow stronger by avoiding resistance, you grow stronger by meeting it with the right mindset. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This isn't just poetic, it's practical. It means the delay in your plans might be building your resilience. The difficult colleague may be refining your diplomacy. The unexpected challenge may be sharpening your clarity under pressure. And here's the twist. When you treat every adversity as training, you stop taking things so personally. You stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I build from this?" That shift right there, that's power. Because no one can take that mindset away from you. They can insult you, doubt you, betray you. But if you're using it all as fuel, what can truly harm you? Seneca captured this perfectly when he wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." So the next time life gets hard, when someone challenges you, criticizes you, blocks you, don't just react, reflect. Ask yourself, what quality is life inviting me to practice right now? How can I use this to grow stronger, wiser, more grounded? Is this the moment I become more of who I am meant to be? Because every challenge contains a gift, not the gift of comfort, but the gift of capacity. Capacity to endure, to rise, to lead with peace even in the middle of pressure. That's what Stoicism trains you for. Not an easy life, but a resilient spirit. And in a world full of blame and victimhood, there's something profoundly rare about someone who takes adversity and turns it into advantage. Part 6, the long game of integrity. Let's talk about something that's often overlooked in today's culture of instant wins and quick applause: integrity. We live in an age of shortcuts. People want to win the debate now, be like now, and get results now. And in that chase for immediate validation, it's easy to forget that the most powerful victories in life are the ones earned over time. But the Stoic doesn't chase the spotlight. The Stoic plays the long game. They know that fleeting moments of praise mean little. It's not about who claps for you in the moment, it's about who trusts you when the stakes are high. And trust, that's not something you demand. That's something you build brick by brick through consistency, restraint, and truth. Seneca said, "We should every night call ourselves to account. What infirmity have I mastered today? What passions opposed? What temptation resisted? What virtue acquired?" That's the Stoic mindset. Not that I win, but that I stay true to my values, even when no one was watching. Because here's the hard truth. It's easy to act honorably when it's convenient, but real integrity is tested when you're under pressure, when no one would blame you for taking the shortcut, when you could get away with it. That's when character is forged, in silence, in solitude, in the small decisions that seem invisible, but shape your destiny. Think about a time when someone underestimated you, or even tried to discredit you. Your pride probably screamed, clap back, defend yourself. But what if the most powerful move was patience? Let them speak. Let them assume. Let them take the shortcut. You stay the course, because integrity isn't about the moment, it's about the trajectory. You don't need to win today if it means sacrificing who you are. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. And more than that, he taught through his example. The Emperor of Rome, dealing with betrayal, chaos, and war, still chose principle over impulse. Because he knew your actions echo beyond the moment. They become your reputation, and your reputation becomes your legacy. So ask yourself, what do I stand for? Even when no one else is standing with me, can I remain steady in my principles even if it costs me short-term applause? Am I living in a way today that my future self will be proud of? Because when the dust settles, when the noise fades, what remains is your word, your conduct, and your conscience. And in the long run, integrity always outmaneuvers ambition. It's not as flashy. It doesn't trend, but it builds something deeper than success. It builds respect from others and, more importantly, from yourself. Part 7. Master the only battlefield that matters: yourself. Let me ask you something simple, yet powerful. When everything around you feels out of control, where do you go? Not physically, but mentally, spiritually, internally. What's your place of refuge when the world is loud, chaotic, or unjust? The Stoics had a clear answer: your inner fortress. That's not just poetic imagery, it's the cornerstone of their philosophy. Because at the end of the day, everything external is fragile. People can change, plans can fail, systems can break, even your own body can betray you. But there's one thing, only one, that no one can ever take from you: your ability to control your mind. Marcus Aurelius put it plainly: nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his soul. Think about that. Not the beach, not the mountains, not your car or your room or your coffee shop. Your deepest peace isn't out there, it's within you. And yet, how many of us build that inner refuge? How many of us spend more time strengthening our opinions than our principles, chasing control over others instead of building sovereignty over ourselves? The Stoic trains daily not in fighting the world, but in fortifying the mind. Because when the storm hits, and it always will, it's not your charm or your cleverness or your success that will protect you. It's your inner structure. Epictetus said, no man is free unless he is master of himself. And that mastery, it doesn't come from information. It comes from practice, from choosing calm over chaos, Purpose over impulse, stillness over noise. Let others rant, let the crowd panic, let events twist and turn. You return inward. You remind yourself, this isn't about them. This moment is my training. My peace is mine to protect. Your inner fortress is built every time you pause before reacting. Every time you forgive without being asked. Every time you face pain and choose to grow, not shrink. Because here's what the Stoics knew and what we must remember. The world will never be fully safe, but you can be. Not because nothing touches you, but because nothing controls you. That's the final and greatest move in this game of life, to be unshakable. Not because you dominate others, but because you own yourself. So I leave you with this: in a world full of noise, be your silence. In a world full of reaction, be the still center. In a world full of masks, be your true self, anchored, aware, and untouchable. That is your ultimate weapon. That is your fortress, and it's been within you all along. Let's bring this home. To outmaneuver others without stress, you don't need to be the loudest, the fastest, or the most aggressive. You just need to be the clearest, the calmest, the most self-controlled. That's where true power lives, not in forcing outcomes but in flowing through them. Not in dominating others but in mastering yourself. So here's your reflection for today. Where in your life are you reacting too quickly instead of responding wisely? Where can you create more space, more pause before you engage? What would your life look like if you stopped fighting battles that don't matter? You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need to win every debate. You just need to know who you are and act accordingly. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this message spoke to you, if you feel even just 1% more grounded, clearer, more empowered, then I ask you to pass that energy forward. Like this episode, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom to strengthen your mind and steady your soul. And always remember, you don't need to fight to win. You just need to be unshakable. Until next time, stay calm, stay focused, and keep mastering yourself.